Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to the channel. Please like, share, subscribe to the videos, and hit the notification bell so you get the notifications when I drop new videos. Today, I'm going to tell you about the time that this was in year 2000. I talked briefly about it, but I didn't tell you I don't think I said the whole story about what was going on over there. But anyways, back in 2000, I was I was already a truck driver, but I decided to take another trade just in case anything ever happened. I'd always have something else to fall back on. So my kid's mother had went to UEI, United Education Institute, in Ontario to be a medical assistant, and she graduated in '99 or at the beginning of 2000. I can't remember what it was, but she graduated from there. She became a certified medical assistant, and she kept going from there. Became a our LVN or something like that. But she went back to school later on. But anyway, she started there at UEI. So I decided, well, fuck it, I'll go over there too because they had different programs there. It's a trade school where they had medical assistant, dental assistant, pharmacy technicians, computer technicians. So I said, you know what? Computers were really becoming popular at that time. This is 2000, so there was still that dial-up shit, and there was AOL. I mean, this is during the time where you were getting you were getting discs in the mail to subscribe to Yahoo or AOL, so you can download it into your computer and have the internet and all that shit like that and emails. So this is still during that time when there was still the dial-up. And so I said, you know what, fuck it, man. This computer thing look like it's gonna go somewhere. So let me go to school to be a computer technician. I was, let me see. So in '94, I turned 20. So I was 26 years old in 2000 when I started going there. And we used to have to dress up when as for computer tech. If you went to the UEI for computer tech, you had to dress up. So you had to wear like fucking Dockers and a button-up shirt with a tie and dress shoes. You couldn't go in just your regular clothes like jeans. You had to go in, slacks and a tie and shirt and all that shit. So I enrolled and I started going there, and it ended up turning into be more of a big fucking party than actually school or training. Because to be honest with you, I really didn't learn shit. I graduated in 2000. I walked and all that shit like that. But I really didn't learn shit. It was more of partying. As soon as I get there, started going to school there, I met a few guys. I met a guy named my boy Emilio. My boy Emilio was going there. I met him there. Um, and this other guy, try to remember his name. David. His name was David. Can't remember his last name, but he was newly married. He was young. He was like 21 years old. 20, 21. Newly married. He had been just got married like a couple months before he started there and had a brand new baby. So yeah, it was me, David, Emilio, and there was a lot of other guys there that I had met in our class. So I would go do my regular job as a truck driver during the day, and after that, I'd go home, change my little monkey outfit, and head on over to the campus over off of Haven and the 10 freeway. The thing was that it was a big building, and there was a lot of different training going on there. So, like I said, there was pharmacy technicians, dental assistants, medical assistants. So there was a lot of women there because they were doing the medical and dental and pharmacy technician things. And there was a lot of young girls there, and a lot. It was like, I would say it's like maybe 60% younger women in their early 20s, and then there was the other women that were like in their 30s and 40s and shit. But the thing was is that the people that worked there, all the fucking staff, they hung out together outside of work, and they weren't old. They weren't like 50 years old, 60 years old instructors. They were like in their late 20s and early 30s. And we started hanging out with them. Me, Emilio, and David. We started hanging out with the instructors and the main people from the school, from the grade school, going to their houses and shit like that. And they would have like parties at their houses with students, with the students there. You know, everybody's there is over 21 years old. You know, everybody there was adults, but you know, it was a lot of like married women, married men. You know, going to trade school, and we're all hanging out together on the weekends. And it was like every weekend, you know, we were hanging out with these people, you know, and it turned more into like a party vibe there. Yeah, you know, we were all studying and shit like that and doing our classwork and stuff, but it seemed like everybody was there to hook up. You know what I mean? And I remember the first time I went to one of the main he wasn't an instructor. He was one of the people that ran the school. And he was really cool, man. He was a really cool ass dude. I used to hang out with him in his office. I would go into his office and just sitting there with him and bullshit with him. I still remember his name. I won't say his name, but I still remember his name. He lived in a ghetto ass apartment complex in Ontario. But I remember one day I was in one day I was in his office bullshitting with him. And again, this guy's probably like 30 years old, maybe. And we were talking and shit, and it always the conversation with the guys was always about the girls that were going there, like whoever was trying to fuck. You know what I mean? That's pretty much what it was. What's women, what's girl, what instructors and shit like that. You know what I mean? It was like going to college or something. And so me and him were in there talking, and he was like, "Hey, let me show you something." So he opens up his drawer. He had a lock on it. He unlocked the bottom drawer and opened it up, and he threw a bunch of Polaroid pictures on the desk. Now he had a Polaroid camera for, I guess, when the people would start, they take their picture and make like an ID for everybody, or put it in their file, whatever it was. So he threw these Polaroid pictures on the desk. It was probably like, I don't know, maybe 15 pictures or some shit. So I picked them up and I started going through them. And I was just like, what the fuck? It was some of the girls that were in the classes that I knew, naked, in his office. Some of them doing other things to him in his office. You know what I mean? Like, he's taking pictures with the Polaroid camera and shit. And I was like tripping out, like, what the fuck? Like, yeah, he goes, man, these girls, man, they're fucking married, whatever. They're fucking hozo, man. You know what I mean? To just what happens with if they get in like any kind of issue, they ain't getting their grade point averages up and shit like that. They'd have to go see him or whoever else. This kind of things that was going on to get your grades back up and shit like that. Keep you from getting kicked out of the school and all this other shit. Some were doing it just because they wanted to be you know feel special or some shit. I guess I don't know, but. Yeah, I was just tripping out looking at all these pictures and shit. He has all these Polaroids at his desk. But that's the kind of shit was going on there. So I remember one day he invited me to his house. He's like, "Hey, I'm gonna have a party this weekend. Why don't you guys come down? You and Emilio and David come down to the house. Here's my address." So I went down to his pad. And like I say, he lives in some ghetto ass apartment complexes off of Mountain and Holt. He lived right there by Mountain and Holt. And so we go down there for like a barbecue. Like in the center of the complex is a pool. He lives right by the pool. So we go over there, and there's a lot of people there. Everybody that's there, we knew everybody was there. Everybody that was there was from the school. It was all the instructors, the administration, and a bunch of students. So his apartment was packed with people. Everybody's drinking and shit. They play music. Some people were swimming in the pool. Some people were inside the house, bullshitting, sitting on the couches and stuff like that. And so we're all partying right there with all the people from the school. And I remember walking into the house and feeling the carpet felt like mushy. So when you step on it, it was like spongy, and you could see like water coming up out of it. So I told him, I said, "Hey, what the fuck happened to your carpet? Why is your carpet all wet? It's all mushy like that." He's like, "Oh, last night we were partying over here and I passed out in the bathtub and it was running all night." He goes, "I woke up this morning in the fucking cold bathtub and the water had overflowed and it flooded the fucking whole apartment." Luckily, he lived downstairs. So he's like, "I'm gonna get the carpet people over here to start sucking up all the water." He goes, "But yeah, it's because I fell asleep in the bathtub. We were fucked up last night." So, oh, okay, he's like, whatever, So we're there hanging out. Like I said, we knew everybody there because they were the people, like the administrators, the students, the girl that was the receptionist when you first walked in the door. There was a girl that was there. I don't remember her name. She was a little bit chubby, not too chubby, but she was chubby, but she was pretty. She was a pretty looking girl. She was there, and I would see her like at school, like every single day. Like when we walked in, she was sitting right there. She'd always like say what's up to us and all that stuff. So we bullshit with her, whatever. But she was there, and we were there for a little while. Next thing I know, she's in the bedroom. It was a 1-bedroom apartment. She was in the bedroom, and she was just letting motherfuckers tag team her. Like, well, not tag team her, but one after another. I was like, what the fuck? Like, first this dude went in there. I remember his name was Victor. He went up in there in the room and they're like, "Go on, Victor, she's in there." So he goes in the room. And this girl's probably like 26 years old, 27 years old, married. He goes in there and does what we gotta do, comes out. This other dude goes in there. And then the administrator, the one whose house it belonged to, he went up in there after that. And then they were telling that dude, David, because David was young, he was like 20, 21. They were telling him, "Go ahead, man, go ahead. She'll let you hit it, And he's like, "Nah, man, I'm married. I just got married not too long ago. I have a little daughter. I don't fuck around." So everybody's like pumping him up, like, "Go ahead. Who let me see this fucking telling you, go ahead." And she was calling the dude. She was telling him, like, "Come in here, David, come in here, close the door." And he was like, "Nah, nah, 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 nah." So finally they what do you call it? Peer pressure. A lot of peer pressure. He went in there and he fucked around with her. And then I remember my boy Emilio telling me, he's like, "Hey, you going next?" I said, "Fuck no. Fuck. You can go in there. I'm not fucking going in there. I don't, these motherfuckers probably they wouldn't even use condoms and shit. They're all in there fucking. They're like, nah, I'm not doing all that shit." I said, "Why, you want to go in there?" He's like, "Nah, I'm not going there." So she was letting anybody run up in there. You know what I mean? So David comes out and right away he has this little guilt trip. Like, "Oh, I can't believe I did that shit. I just got married like 2 months ago." And man, when we were like, "Hey, just you ain't got to go home and tell your fucking wife, stupid. Just don't say nothing. Just shut the fuck up about it." Well, after that, it was just like he turned into a little maniac when it came to that. She started fucking around with other girls at the school, but um, so yeah, that happens, right? So she was getting fucking ran up in by a bunch of dudes and shit. Then she finally comes out. She comes out in her underwear. Actually, she comes out in her fucking thong and her bra and shit. Like she was looking around, like she was waiting to see if anybody else is gonna go up in there. And like she's walking around like that, and dudes are just touching on her and shit like that. And I was just like tripping out, like, all right, let's whatever. So she gets dressed, and these two girls had showed up over there that was going to school with us, and I used to talk to one of them, and so I told the dude, John, I said, "Hey, dude, like, let me take these girls into your room. Me and my boy take these two girls into your room." And he says, like, "Go ahead." So we had these two girls in the room. We're sitting on the bed just bullshit with them at first. You know what I mean? And then we started to, fuck around. We weren't having sex with her or nothing, but we started, macking on whatever. Or on the bed and shit. And I remember there was this one kid. I couldn't remember his name. I can't remember his name, but he was a real annoying little fucker. And he talked a lot. And he's a clown. He's a fuck around a lot. Well, I remember my homie that I'm going to school with, going to school with, he's laying on the one side of the bed with that chick, and I'm on the other side of the bed laying right here with it. And I remember hearing the girl that he's over there with saying, what the fuck is going on? And like she's like sits up and she like looks on the side of the bed and here's that fucking other dude. He had creeped into the room. He crawled on the floor and he's laying on the floor and he has his arm up on the bed and he's like rubbing on her titties and shit. And so she feels three hands on her. So she thinks it was me, I guess. When she looked over, I'm not touching her. So she's like, what the fuck is going on? Like, there's another hand on me. And so she jumps up real quick and looks down. It's that dude. And she's like, what the fuck are you doing? And he gets up, he's laughing. He's like, oh, come on, man. Let me get in on this. And she's like, nah, fuck all that. You know what I mean? Get out of here. And so the other dude's like, hey, man, go ahead and bounce, dude. You fuck everything up for me. He's like, oh, come on, man. Let me get in on this shit. And they were like, both the girls were like, get out of here. Telling him, hey, get out of here. Like, so he gets out. About 10 minutes later, same fucking thing. She feels like three hands on her. This motherfucker had crawled back into the room and put his hand back up there. He had grabbed the other dude's hand and it was like he grabbed and he pulled his arm down. He's like shaking, like telling him, like, don't put your hand up there because she's gonna know that there's three hands on her. So the other dude that's kissing my boy that's smacking on his chick, he puts one hand down like to his side, and then he reaches his hand over, and so he's touching on her. So now she feels just the two hands, but for some reason she caught on what the fuck was going on. So she jumped up again. She sees this motherfucker laying on the floor again with his arm up on the bed. So the girls was like, you know what, fuck that. We're out of here. We could do this some other time. We can go somewhere else, but this little motherfucker right here, fuck this dude. And so they get up and they walk out, and I'm telling them, like, hey, why the fuck you keep coming in here for? Why are you fucking it all up for it? He's like, wow, come on, man. You guys have two bitches in here. Let me get some of that. I say, they already told you no, man. You're over here fucking it all up. Now they left. So I'm kind of pissed off. So I was like, man, whatever. So I go into the front room, and I remember my boy Emilio, he's sitting in there. Nobody else is there. I don't know where the fuck everybody else had went. They went out to the pool or they were there. Nobody was there. So he's sitting on the couch, but he's sitting there with this other chick. It's just him and this girl. They're sitting on the fucking big couch. And I remember she was like a half white, half Mexican girl. But she was stacking up here. She was fucking, she was big chested. And she was part of the medical assistant program over there. She was pretty too. She was sitting there with him, and so I go out there and I tell my boy me like, what's going on, dude? He's like, oh, nothing, man. Let me talk to you real quick. So I go, all right. So we go outside, and I said, what's up, man? And he goes, hey, that fucking chick right there. I said, yeah, what about her? He's like, man, she hooked me up right now, bro. Like, just before you guys came out, she just finished. And I was like, hooked you up, hooked you up? He's like, yeah, bro. Yeah, right. He's like, I'm fucking dead serious, dude. She did. So I said, you're not bullshitting? He's like, nah. I said, all right. So I said, come on, let's go back inside. So we go back inside, and we're talking, and I tell her, I say, hey, can I ask you something? Like, straight out? And she's like, yeah. I said, did you fucking hook my boy up right here? And she smiled, and she's like, yeah. You ain't gonna tell anybody, right? And I was like, nah, I'm not gonna tell nobody. I said, he told me, I said, I didn't believe it. She's like, yeah, I did. I was like, cool. I said, wanna hook me up? And she's like, you ain't tell nobody? I said, I'm not tell nobody, man. It's just us here, you know what I mean? And she says, like, fuck it, let's go. Let's go in the room. So, all right, cool. So then we go into the room, and I told my boy, because my boy's like, hey, like, you gonna fuck her? I was like, nah. She's gonna let her hook me up and that's it, bro. Why? He's like, well, fuck it then. I'm gonna smash on her then while she's doing that. You know what I mean? So like, I don't give a fuck. Go ahead, dude. Like, that's cool. I don't give a shit. Just don't be touching on me and shit. You know what I mean? Don't pull no fucking gay shit on me, dude. And he's like, come on, bro. Like, it's not even like that, bro. I was like, hey, do what you gotta do. You know what I mean? So, but let me ask her first. You know? So I tell her, I said, hey, check it out. You know? I said, I don't want to fuck around with you like that. Like, you know, I don't want to have sex with you or nothing like that. You know? I just want you to hook me up. You know? But is it cool if he comes in here and he'll fucking hook you up? You know what I mean? But I don't want to get involved with that shit with you. You know what I mean? She's like, you guys ain't gonna say nothing? And I was like, nah, man. Like, we're not gonna say nothing. So, fuck it. All right, cool. So I was like, come on. I told him, come in here. So he comes in the room and shit. The other dude stayed in the front room. And, like, whatever, she's doing her thing with me. And then, like, he gets behind her. Like, it was fucking funny because this fool pulls his fucking pants down. He kneels down on the fucking floor and he fucked up his dockers. I just heard him fucking just go, motherfucker, fuck. And he jumped up. And I'm like, I look at him, I said, what's going on, man? He's like, man, look at my fucking pants. And he had already pulled his pants up. He had like beige dockers on, right? Well, the carpet was soaking wet. And the carpet must have been like hella dirty because his dockers on the knee area was all like fucking dirty brown looking colors. The knees were fucked up. They were all wet and brown. And he has his pants up, his knees were all fucking wet and dirty and shit. And he's like, man, he's got these motherfucking pants and shit. And I just started laughing at him like, dude, you're fucking worried about they're already fucked up. You might as well just finish what you're doing. And he's like, man, fuck this bitch. And he fucking walks out the room. And she's like, well, he's not gonna fuck me? And I was like, I guess not. You know what I mean? She's like, well, are you? I said, nah, I already told you no. I'm not doing all that. Just do what you gotta do so I can get up out of here. So she does. And then, like, I don't even say nothing to her, man. I just get up and just put my pants on. I walk the fuck out and go back in the living room. I say, come on, let's get the fuck out of here before she comes out here. Because I just, after that, I just couldn't face her. Like, I didn't even look at her, you know what I mean? I was like, hey, let's go. Let's hurry and get the fuck out of here. So we all got out of the house and jumped in the car and took the fuck off. And that was on like a Saturday. So Monday we go back to school. And we started telling all the fellas right there, like, oh yeah, she's about her and the fucking secretary chick. Like, yeah, them fucking girls right there, man. Like, we were telling them everything that was happening. The people that weren't there, you know what I mean? And what do? That shit started spreading like elementary school, like wildfire. By the end of the fucking day, she had found out that we had fucking told on her. Well, all the chicks right there had found out that we had fucking not told them, that we told everybody that they were hoes. You know what I mean? That they were fucking over there at the fucking party, you know. But that one chick was so fucking mad. She comes outside. I was outside the front, and she came out and she's like, "Hey, what the fuck, man? What the fuck you tell everybody for? I thought you said you weren't telling anybody." I said, "Man, don't worry about it, shit, man. You know." And she was like trying to swing on me and shit out in front of the school. So I'm like running away from her, like laughing at her because she tried to hit me out in front of the school. And I was telling her, hey, you better fucking calm down, man, before they come out here and ask you why the fuck you're trying to hit me. You're gonna tell them why you're over trying to hit me. You know what I mean? You're gonna get yourself fucking kicked out of here, you know. So, but she was pissed. She was mad as a motherfucker. But I mean, that wasn't the only time we hung out at that dude's house. That wasn't the only time that shit like that was happening. I mean, the shit was happening at the school, in like back rooms and shit like that. Like I said, the administration there, the administrators, the males, they were fucking with all the female students and shit. You know what I mean? To get better grades, to be able to graduate. You know, to get extra fucking privileges there. You know what I mean? It was like a fucking free for all right there and shit. And like I said, I spent more time chasing the chicks around over there than I did actually studying. I mean, I did graduate from there, but I spent more time fucking around over there than I did actually learning anything. So when I left there, I really didn't know shit. And come to find out, it's all really a scam anyway. You know what I mean? I figured that out though in the very beginning. You know, you go there, and I remember I think it was like the first day we were there. One of the guys had asked like, "Hey, so, you know, what is it? What do they pay? You know, once we graduate from here, what do they pay to be a computer technician and all that shit?" And the dude was like, the instructor was like, "Well, it pays like anywhere from 10 to 15 bucks an hour to start." And they're like, "What do you mean 10 to 15 bucks? That ain't shit." I was already making like $20 an hour at my other job, so it was like, it kind of busted my bubble. I'm like, "What do you mean $10 to 15 an hour?" He's like, "Well, yeah, you know, you're only getting a certificate. You're not getting like a degree. You're getting a certificate. It's like 9 months. You get a certificate. You're for a computer technician, but you're only learning basic shit. You know what I mean? You're not learning like you're not gonna be a fucking hacker when you leave here, you know. So it's just you have to continue education after this. And so we're like, "Well, what do you mean like continue education?" He's like, "Well, you gotta go back to school after this. Now if you once you get certified, you go back and then you get your associates, bachelors, masters, all that shit like that. That's where you make good money when you have those degrees. But right now, you're just getting a certificate." So I think a lot of the guys that were there kind of got discouraged, thinking that okay, you're considered a computer technician, but you only got a certificate. You know what I mean? And a lot of the guys afterwards didn't even use that shit. They didn't even get jobs doing it. You know, it was like kind of like a waste of time because you could get the certificate in like 8 months, but nobody's gonna really hire you to be a computer technician with a certificate. Now, if you had a degree, you know, a bachelor's, associates, or a master's, well, then now you're talking about making some money. But you had to go to school for another few years to get that. You know what I mean? So it was kind of like going to high school. You're not going to really get a good job out of high school. You got to go to college afterwards to get degrees and shit like that to get a better paying job. And so I think a lot of the guys they kind of got discouraged. And since you had already signed up, though, you're gonna have to pay for that shit. You know what I mean? You're already there, so you might as well go. But none of the guys that I knew that had went there with me had became did anything with computers afterwards. You know, it was kind of like a waste of fucking time to go there. Even for like the medical assistants and all that shit, because all you are is a medical assistant, but you don't you're not gonna make that much money. You know what I mean? You're gonna make like 15 bucks an hour, whatever it is. You need to go and become a registered like a RN or a LVN or a phlebotomist. That's where you're gonna make your good money. But they don't tell you that when you go to those trade schools. You know what I mean? Like that for computer technicians and all that shit. Like there was Concord and UEI. There was ITT Tech was shut down. I think there was one was DeVry. Most of them places have shut down. Especially the UEI. I think all the UEI shut down. They were fucking scams. You wasn't really learning shit, and a lot of the instructors there had went to school there. So they went to school there, got certified, and ended up getting hired to work there. You know what I mean? So the guys that were fixing our computers, they had went there and got the certificates. They had really good. They scored with high grades, and so they would hire them to be like to be the technicians there at the school or to teach the other students. That's why the guys were so young. A lot of the instructors were so young in their 20s because they had went to school there, got good grades, graduated with high grades, and ended up getting hired there, and were now teaching there. And so that's like I said, that's why a lot of the instructors that were young. When it came to the computer shit, not when it came to the medical and dental, that was all a bunch of older women. But yeah, man, it was like a fucking free for all over there at UEI. You didn't learn shit. You learned more how to get on the internet and chat rooms and all that crap like that. You learned, you know, how to party. You know what I mean? How to party and that's all we did for like I think it's like 9 months. I was there 9 10 months, and most of the time it was every fucking weekend we party. Sometimes it was in the same parking lot as the Holiday Inn, so they had a lounge there, and so sometimes we would say, "Fuck it, let's just go to the lounge next door." And we walk out the building, go next door, and go sit in the lounge, order some drinks, and watch, baseball, basketball, whatever was playing. We watch fucking sports games, just chilling there, drinking and shit. come back into the class, sign out, go home, and get credit for being there. And I was going there at a time where I told you that I got catfished. Me and Emilio, we were going there at UEI at that time, and that story I had told you guys before. But yeah, UEI it was an experience. I had a lot of fun there. You know what I mean? It was a waste of time. It ended up going on my fucking credit. It fell off since then because I didn't pay it. Um, but it was a hell of an experience. It was fun. We had a really good time over there and shit. We just just partying and shit like that. But yeah, so that's the story of United Education Institute. I don't think they're still around, but if they are, don't get sucked up in their advertisements because it's a fucking scam. They just want your money. They're not gonna really teach you shit. You want to get an education and go to college or go to a better trade school than that. But anyways, that's my story. Thank you guys for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe, and I'll be talking to you guys later.